All right. As it is today, Therapeasy, like I said, is the eHarmony for therapy. We are only in Colorado right now, but we have over 140 providers on the site. So we just launched last May. We have 140 providers on the site. We've facilitated over 800 matches since last May.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. And so basically how it works, if you were looking for therapy, you would go through a quick survey on our site, very easy, kind of get to know who you are, what you're looking for, what your preferences are in a therapist. And it actually shows you, kind of like dating sites, shows you your top 3 compatible matches. So you can go in and click into their profiles and learn more about that therapist. You're actually able to initiate a chat with them on our site, just so you can explore the fit a little bit better before committing to scheduling your first appointment.
Video chat or written chat, or what is that? What does that look like?
Just a messaging system, two-way messaging system. Yep.
Okay. Does it cost?
Free for everyone to use to find a provider.
Well, how do you make money? What's the business model?
So it's a subscription model on the therapist side, because we are finding quality leads for them. So it's a really affordable rate. You know, we actually all of last year during the pandemic, we made the decision to make it free on both ends. So we're actually still pre-revenue technically right now. We wanted to onboard as many providers as possible during the pandemic, you know, and just be able to help people find a therapist during that time. So we wanted to grow that base as strong as possible. This year, we're launching a new version that has more features and dashboard and reporting for the provider. So really some features that the providers will find helpful as they manage their leads through the system. And so we are turning on the subscription model in February, actually.
Love that idea. So basically what you did was you got your proof of concept, you got some users, you got some traction, you got some reviews, you got everybody on both sides liking it, no cost. And then you make the functionality even better and add some more features and go back to your doctors and you say, hey, look, or your therapist, you go back to them and say, you know, would love to continue to provide you with this awesome tool you have, but it's going to cost a little bit of money now, which if they really love it and it's generated extra clients for them, they're probably going to just be willing to sign on, I guess, right?
Yeah. And we do anticipate, I mean, it breaks my heart a little bit because it's like my baby, but we do anticipate a few therapists like probably not continuing the service. And mostly because, you know, it's actually mental health professionals. We're in such a shortage. And so most therapists that I talk to day, their panels are completely full. Like they don't have the capacity to take on new clients.
Okay.
So well, they may remove the profile once we start charging.
Okay. But still you'll gain some clients out of it. So pre-revenue. So you guys bootstrapped this thing. The three of you. Now that's you were all able to do that because you all have other jobs, right? So that's how you did this on nights and weekends, etc.
Yeah, lots of nights and weekends. And also John Just, actually, one of my co-founders, he quit his job last February, his full-time job, and he took the dive in full-time. Poor guy, unexpectedly, the pandemic happened. And so we were really expecting to like at least be working in the same room. And so he ended up being at home a lot more than he wanted, which I think he would say is a drawback, but I think it also was very helpful for him to be so hands-on operationally as things were like getting launched. And so, we're all juggling like some side things. Like Dr. Richardson has several contract positions on the side. But yes, bootstrap till this point, but we'll definitely need help as we think about expanding.
Was the bootstrap from a finance perspective, did you guys all three put in money to pay some software engineers or some developers to get the website up and some coding done, or what'd you do?
Yeah, so the bootstrapping so far is primarily development and advertising.
Okay.
Advertising is so expensive. So that is a learning from 2020 as we launched, was attracting traffic from although it's a free service, attracting traffic from patients who are seeking care is actually pretty costly from an advertising perspective. And then the bulk of the bootstrapping has been the development of the tool.
Yep. Is it an app or just a website, or what's the deal?
It's a website. It's mobile capable. It's not an app right now. Just right now, the functionality is just the match. But as we kind of expand functionality to after you match, can we provide you with some tools and some ongoing things that would help you in your therapy? Then maybe we'll explore making it an app.
Okay. And you haven't taken on any cash. Are you you going to wait till you get some revenue going before you try to like raise some capital, or what's the plan?
We're open to both. We are, I mean, this year we are, like I said, flipping to the subscription model. So hoping some revenue will start rolling in, and that'll help with ongoing development and advertising. Definitely not looking to pay ourselves yet for a while until this thing actually kind of gets some momentum. But at the same time, we're also exploring, grants or any other modes of like capital funding. We're a little bit, new to this as well, all three of us. So from the capital front, I think we're still kind of learning as we go.
Do you have a pitch deck for angels already? Have you been on any angel meetings where you're asking wealthy people to write you a check? Have you done any of that yet?
I have not had the privilege to meet with angel investors, but I do have a pitch deck. I did Denver Startup Week this year, and we were one of the finalists in the pitch competition.
So cool. All right, very good.
That was really fun. We pitched 2 nights. We made it to the finals. We didn't win, unfortunately, but there was prize money, and that would have helped. But it was a great experience. I would definitely be open to pitching more.
Great experience for you. How did you decide between the 3 that you were going to be the CEO, and how did that come about? What are the other 2? What is their functionality in the business?
Yeah. So because we have had like 3 years working on the project before it was actually being developed and the tool was launched, we've had some familiarity with everybody's strengths. And so we had talked about it. I've always been really like the storyteller, the spokesperson, really kind of driving sales as well. And so in some ways there, like a kind of the fit was there to, I guess, be the spokesperson, the CEO. And also I think I just have a very ambitious vision for what this thing could be, which helps to kind of drive the motivation and the inspiration for it. Dr. Katie Richardson, she's an awesome pediatrician, but also just like a huge advocate of entrepreneurs in Colorado. So if you know an entrepreneur in healthcare, they've probably heard of Dr. Richardson because she's given advice at some point. So she actually is our head of provider experience. So she's been really working with the therapists to understand what their experience has been. That's where we've been pulling feedback to know what are the new features that would be suitable and desirable to the providers to roll out in this next phase. She's been kind of nurturing our providers, and she also is, just because of how well networked she is, she's been connecting us with provider networks, all things providers, really getting us in front of networks and potential partners. And then John, data whiz, he calls himself a self-proclaimed data nerd, he says. But now that I've worked with him a lot more closely, he's definitely very, very talented at data analysis, can do all kinds of things with data and really derive the meaning of what it's like trying to tell us, right? How should we make the decisions from what we're seeing? So he's been kind of head of product, head of kind of keeping task of our development and what's coming live, what do we need to prioritize, what do we need to scale back on, helping us kind of work with the developers, but also really like, everything from like developing our user database to looking at our finances. He has a really rich healthcare finance background. He's worked in hospitals for like the last 10, 15 years. So he's like finance, data, product. He's like the heart of the operations.
Okay, very good. What do you guys do when you disagree? What do you like, take a vote because there's three of you, or what? How does that work?
We work really well together. We rarely disagree, but yes, it does help that we're three because it's very sometimes two of us can persuade the other one.
Right.
And so that's, it makes it easier.
Any competition? Do you worry? And do you worry about that? What does the landscape look like there?
Yeah, so there are competitors out there. There's actually, over the last year, Steve, we've seen so many new like matching type of organizations pop up. So also startups as well. But I think that everybody is emphasizing or focusing on something a little bit different. Like we came
Okay.
across one that emphasizes on getting millennials therapy. And so they're recruiting therapists that have a specialty or have a specialty in working with millennials for people of that generation. So that's their emphasis. We came across another one that very neat. They are all about connecting people of color to therapists of color who
Okay.
are basically looking for a therapist of the same background or identity for relatability. But then that's their niche, and so I think for us, like we're more about like, where do you start? Like, no matter, regardless of who you are, where can you start if you are looking for therapy? And regardless of whether you have insurance or not, and all these other parameters, your availability, your location, your communication style, what you're dealing with, can we be like a starting place to help you at least get, your top compatible providers, and you have a place to start and reach out to somebody.
Okay.
So
Very good. Very good.
I think there's still enough like, differentiation there. Even though there are a lot of players in this space, there's some really established players in Colorado, for example, where they're networks. So a provider actually signs on to be a part of their network, and then they match them to clients. But what that means from a provider standpoint is you give up a little bit of your compensation because you're now a part of their network, and they collect payment before they pay the provider.
Okay.
And so we really kind of think of ourselves as like a no strings attached type of model. We're like subscription based, month to month. And so
Okay.
if at any given point the provider's like, hey, like I
Mhm.
don't have capacity anymore, they can just unsubscribe.
If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Riderflex Podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviewing. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information and pricing on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.